The last time we were all reunited is when Mr. Hughes passed, 2010, man. We had the Oscar thing where they paid tribute to him.
Right.
So I thought that was very classy.
Standing as an iconic masterpiece of 1980s cinema, The Breakfast Club captured the essence of teenage angst and self-discovery like no other. John Hughes's groundbreaking work not only defined a generation, but continues to resonate with audiences decades later. Its raw portrayal of high school archetypes and their shared Saturday detention has become a cultural touchstone. However, behind the scenes, this beloved classic harbored secrets that would shock even the most devoted fans. But perhaps the most intriguing secret of all involves a creative decision that could have dramatically altered the film's legacy. Join us as we uncover The Breakfast Club's alternate ending that was never shown, a revelation that will make you question everything you thought you knew about this quintessential coming-of-age story. But first, let's rewind to the beginning and explore how this seemingly simple tale of 5 teenagers in detention became a cultural phenomenon that almost took a very different turn. Hughes's teen dream. John Hughes, the mastermind behind The Breakfast Club, didn't just stumble into creating one of the most iconic teen films of all time. His journey to this pivotal moment in cinema history was paved with a unique blend of experiences, influences, and an uncanny ability to tap into the teenage psyche. Before The Breakfast Club, Hughes had already made a name for himself in Hollywood. He cut his teeth writing for National Lampoon magazine, where his sharp wit and observational humor caught the eye of producers. This led to his breakout success with the screenplay for National Lampoon's Vacation in 1983. But Hughes wasn't content with just writing. He had a vision that demanded he step into the director's chair. Hughes's first directorial effort, 16 Candles, 1984, was a hit that established his trademark style of blending comedy with heartfelt coming-of-age drama. But what really set Hughes apart was his genuine interest in and respect for teenagers. As actor Anthony Michael Hall once said, John had this incredible ability to tap into the teenage experience. He understood us in a way no other filmmaker did at the time. So, what inspired Hughes to create The Breakfast Club? The idea actually came from his own high school experiences in the suburbs of Chicago. Hughes once revealed in an interview, "I spent a lot of Saturday mornings in detention when I was in high school. I didn't set out to write a movie about it, but I had some fond memories of it." But Hughes wasn't just drawing from his own past. He was heavily influenced by the films of François Truffaut, particularly The 400 Blows, which explored the complexities of youth with a level of empathy rarely seen in cinema at the time. Hughes aimed to bring that same depth to American teen movies, which had largely been dominated by raunchy comedies and slasher flicks. Hughes' vision for The Breakfast Club was ambitious. He wanted to create a film that would give voice to the often overlooked complexities of teenage life. As he put it, "I wanted to make a movie that showed teens as they really are, not as adults wish they were." His dream was to create a film that would resonate with teenagers while also opening the eyes of adults to the struggles and pressures faced by young people. To achieve this, Hughes took an unconventional approach. He insisted on casting actors close to the age of their characters and encouraged improvisation to capture authentic teenage dialogue. He also fought to keep the film's focus intimate, resisting studio pressure to add more locations or action sequences. In the end, Hughes' unwavering commitment to his vision paid off. The Breakfast Club not only became a box office success, but also a cultural touchstone that continues to resonate with audiences decades later. However, as Hughes embarked on his ambitious project, he was about to face a series of challenges that would test his vision and determination. Casting musical chairs. The iconic lineup of The Breakfast Club wasn't always set in stone. In fact, the casting process was a whirlwind of what-ifs and last-minute decisions that could have dramatically altered the film's dynamic. One of the juiciest bits of casting trivia involves Molly Ringwald, Hughes's go-to girl for teen angst. Initially, Hughes had her pegged for the role of Allison, the basket case. Can you imagine Ringwald in that chunky sweater, armed with dandruff as her artistic medium? But Molly wasn't having it. She had her sights set on Claire, the princess, and lobbied hard for the part. Hughes eventually caved, leaving the role of Allison up for grabs. Enter Ali Sheedy, who snagged the part of Allison and made it her own. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Anthony Michael Hall wasn't originally in the running for the brain, Brian Johnson. He only landed the gig because of his prior work with Hughes on 16 Candles. Talk about a lucky break. In a 2010 interview with Vanity Fair, Hall spilled the beans. I was the first one cast. John called me and said, "I want you to be in this movie, but I want you to play a different part." Can you imagine anyone else nailing those awkward elephant lamp lines? The casting shuffle didn't stop there. Emilio Estevez was initially considered for Bender, the criminal, before landing the role of Andrew, the athlete. And get this, Nicolas Cage was in talks to play Bender before Judd Nelson swooped in and made the role legendary. Yet as the cast was finally assembled, the real drama was about to unfold on set. Detention, drama unleashed. When The Breakfast Club hit theaters in 1985, audiences saw 5 stereotypical teens stuck in Saturday detention. But behind that seemingly simple premise lay a whirlwind of production challenges, on-set tensions, and creative chaos that threatened to derail John Hughes's now iconic film. Let's dive into the detention drama that unfolded behind the scenes. First off, let's talk about time constraints. Hughes and his crew had a mere 32 days to shoot the entire film. That's barely a month to capture the angst, humor, and emotional depth that would define a generation. And where did they film this masterpiece? In one location, a shuttered high school in Des Plaines, Illinois. Talk about limited resources. Now, picture this. It's the dead of winter in Chicago. The cast and crew are huddled in this empty school, battling freezing temperatures and unpredictable weather. Emilio Estevez once quipped, "We were basically shooting in a meat locker." Not exactly the cozy environment you'd want for those intimate character moments, right? Speaking of Estevez, he and the other young actors were grappling with their newfound Brat Pack label. In a later interview, Estevez admitted, "I hated it. We all did. It was limiting and kind of demeaning." This tension bubbled beneath the surface throughout filming, adding an extra layer of pressure to an already stressful shoot. But the real drama, that came from John Hughes himself. Here's a guy directing only his second feature film, working with a bunch of young, talented, and, let's face it, somewhat volatile actors. Hughes's inexperience showed at times, leading to clashes with the cast over his directorial style. Judd Nelson, who played bad boy John Bender, often butted heads with Hughes. The tension got so bad that Hughes nearly fired Nelson midway through production. It took the intervention of Ali Sheedy and Molly Ringwald to save Nelson's job. Talk about high school drama. Despite these challenges, or perhaps because of them, Hughes encouraged improvisation on set. This led to some of the film's most memorable moments, like the pot-smoking scene in the library. But it also created new hurdles. How do you keep the story on track when your actors are going off script? It was a delicate balancing act that Hughes had to master on the fly. Now you might think all this chaos would lead to massive budget overruns, right? Surprisingly, no. The Breakfast Club was a low-budget film from the start, with a price tag of just $1 million. This tight budget actually worked in Hughes's favor, giving him more creative control. As producer Michelle Manning later revealed, because it was so inexpensive, the studio left us alone. Hughes's unconventional directorial style raised eyebrows too. He'd often film entire scenes in one take, much to the studio's dismay. But Hughes stood his ground, believing this approach captured the raw energy he wanted. As Ringwald later recalled, John had a very specific vision. He knew exactly what he wanted, even if it didn't always make sense to us at the time. The script itself was a work in progress throughout filming. Hughes would often rewrite scenes the night before shooting, handing the actors new pages in the morning. This kept everyone on their toes, but also added to the overall stress on set. Despite all these challenges, or perhaps because of them, The Breakfast Club went on to become a massive financial success and a cultural touchstone. It grossed over $50 million at the box office. Not bad for a film about 5 kids sitting in detention, huh? In the end, the film's success solidified Hughes's reputation as the voice of a generation. Anthony Michael Hall summed it up best. John had this incredible ability to tap into the teenage experience. He understood us in a way no other filmmaker did at the time. So, next time you watch The Breakfast Club, remember the chaos behind the scenes. Those iconic moments, the dancing sequence, the heartfelt confessions, the fist pump finale. They all emerged from a pressure cooker of tight schedules, on-set tensions, and a novice director with a clear vision. It just goes to show, sometimes the most challenging productions create the most enduring films. As Claire would say, when you grow up, your heart dies. But for The Breakfast Club, the heart of the film was very much alive, beating strongly despite, or perhaps because of, the drama unfolding behind the camera. Though the film overcame its production hurdles, the post-production phase would bring its own set of unexpected twists and turns. Breakfast Club's secret menu. When The Breakfast Club wrapped filming, you'd think the drama was over, but oh boy, were you wrong. The post-production phase served up a whole new platter of juicy behind-the-scenes action that would make even Principal Vernon raise an eyebrow. Let's start with the music. You know that iconic Simple Minds track, don't you? Forget About Me? Well, it almost didn't make the cut. Hughes wanted a song by his favorite band, the Psychedelic Furs, but the studio pushed for something new and radio-friendly. After being turned down by Billy Idol and Brian Ferry, the song landed in Simple Minds' lap. Initially, they weren't keen on it either. Lead singer Jim Kerr recalled, "We were dead set against it. We thought it would be a total sellout. Talk about biting the hand that feeds you." But the music drama didn't stop there. The film's original score, composed by Keith Forsey, faced its own uphill battle. Forsey had to navigate a minefield of copyright issues, leading to last-minute scrambles to secure rights for certain tracks. It's a miracle we ended up with such a killer soundtrack. Now let's talk about those alternate endings. Yeah, you heard that right. Hughes actually filmed multiple endings, unsure which would resonate best with audiences. One version had Claire and Bender sharing a kiss outside the school, while another focused on Andrew and Allison. Ultimately, Hughes went with the fist pump finale we all know and love. But can you imagine how different the film's legacy might be if he'd chosen differently? The editing room was its own special kind of hell. Thanks to all that on-set improvisation, looking at you, Judd Nelson, the editors had their work cut out for them. They had to piece together coherent scenes from takes that often varied wildly. Editor Dee Allen later said, "It was like assembling a jigsaw puzzle where the pieces kept changing shape. And let's not forget the deleted scenes. Oh, the juicy backstories we missed out on." There was originally more insight into why each character ended up in detention, but Hughes, in his infinite wisdom, decided less was more. He wanted the audience to fill in the blanks themselves. Clever move or missed opportunity? You decide. Marketing the film proved to be its own challenge. How do you advertise a movie about teens discussing sex, drugs, and rebellion to, well, teens? The studio had to walk a fine line between appealing to their target audience and not freaking out parents. They settled on emphasizing the film's themes of self-discovery and friendship, downplaying some of its more controversial elements. In the end, The Breakfast Club emerged from this post-production gauntlet as the cultural touchstone we know today. But next time you watch it, remember, what you're seeing is just the tip of the iceberg. Despite the film's success, it wasn't immune to controversy, and the real debates were just beginning. Breakfast Club's controversial menu. The Breakfast Club wasn't just serving up teen angst with a side of rebellion. It was dishing out a full course of controversy that had parents, critics, and censors choking on their popcorn. Let's dig into the spiciest items on this cinematic menu, shall we? First up, let's talk about those authority figures. Principal Vernon, played to perfection by Paul Gleason, wasn't exactly winning any Educator of the Year awards. His portrayal as a power-tripping, borderline abusive administrator had real-life teachers up in arms. One critic famously quipped, "If this is how Hollywood sees educators, no wonder our schools are in trouble." But Hughes defended his choice, arguing that Vernon represented the disconnect between adults and teens that the film sought to explore. Then there's the infamous marijuana scene. Picture this: 5 teens hotboxing the library, giggling over their shared joint. Harmless fun or dangerous glorification? Parents' groups were not amused. The National PTA even issued a statement calling the scene irresponsible and potentially harmful to impressionable viewers. Hughes, ever the rebel, stood by his creative decision, arguing it reflected real teen experiences. But here's where it gets really juicy: the ethical dilemma of covering for Bender. When the group decides to take the fall for Bender's marijuana possession, it sparked heated debates about loyalty versus honesty. Some praised it as a powerful moment of solidarity, while others saw it as promoting a dangerous US versus them mentality against authority. Now let's talk ratings. The MPAA initially slapped an R rating on the film, which would have been box office suicide for a teen movie. Universal Pictures fought tooth and nail to get it down to PG-13. The negotiations were intense, with Hughes reportedly having to cut several F-bombs and tone down some of the more explicit dialogue. In the end, they got their PG-13, but at what cost to Hughes's original vision? Last but not least, we can't ignore the criticism surrounding the film's portrayal of mental health. Allison's character in particular drew fire from mental health advocates who argued her quirks were played for laughs rather than treated with sensitivity. One psychologist famously stated, "The film trivializes serious mental health issues under the guise of teen quirkiness." The Breakfast Club pushed boundaries, sparked conversations, and ultimately changed the landscape of teen cinema. It continues to captivate audiences decades later. Its legacy serves as a testament to Hughes's unwavering vision and the power of authentic storytelling in cinema. The Breakfast Club's lasting legacy. Let's take a moment to appreciate the film's positive impact and enduring legacy. First off, the fan impact has been nothing short of extraordinary. Generations of viewers have found solace and understanding in the film's honest portrayal of teenage struggles. As one fan put it, "It made me feel less alone in my high school experience." The movie's quotable lines and iconic scenes have become part of our collective cultural consciousness. Who hasn't struck a Bender fist pump pose at least once in their life? Industry-wise, The Breakfast Club revolutionized the teen movie genre. It proved that young adult films could be both commercially successful and critically acclaimed. The film's success paved the way for more nuanced, character-driven teen narratives in Hollywood. As filmmaker Kevin Smith once said, Hughes gave us all permission to talk about the teen experience with a little more dignity. While The Breakfast Club didn't sweep the award season, its impact has been recognized over time. In 2016, the film was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Not too shabby for a movie about kids in detention, right? Financially, The Breakfast Club was a home run. Made on a modest budget of $1 million, it grossed over $50 million at the box office. Talk about return on investment. The film's success cemented Hughes's status as a bankable director and proved that teen-focused films could be major moneymakers. As for future Breakfast Clubs, well, lightning doesn't often strike twice. While there have been rumors and wishful thinking about sequels or remakes over the years, nothing has materialized. And maybe that's for the best. As Molly Ringwald herself said, "I think the movie is what it is. It's a classic for a reason." In the end, The Breakfast Club remains a testament to the power of authentic storytelling. It reminds us that beneath our labels and stereotypes, we're all just trying to figure out who we are. And isn't that what growing up is all about? As the film so beautifully put it, we're all pretty bizarre. Some of us are just better at hiding it, that's all. What did you find most surprising or insightful about this deep dive into the hidden layers of The Breakfast Club? Share your thoughts by commenting below. If you enjoyed this video, we think you'll like one of these that's on your screen now. Also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.